Hey everybody, I'm here today with a video of myself caulking a kitchen countertop. This will be an easy tutorial, so let's get right into the video. Now you want to start with a fresh surface. So in this case, I've already scraped off all of the old caulking from the edge of the countertop here. Now there were actually two layers of old caulking. There was the original one from when the house was built, and then there was an additional layer on top. I managed to get the additional layer out, but some of the original caulking is still there. It's all good. I wiped it down and make sure it's completely dry. Now you'll notice, if you take a look right there, that I taped off the edges. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to tape over here, just because I want to give you an idea of how to get your nice caulking line. Now ideally you want your caulking line to be nice and thin, but because I'm going over this really old caulking, it's going to be a little bit thicker than I would usually do. But what you want to do is you want to get two lines of tape. Just any painter's tape will do perfectly fine. Okay, and you want to put those two lines of tape just as so. You want to get one along the top, one along the bottom. So this is a little bit too thick right over here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to pull it off and lower it just like that. Very simple, very easy. Okay, so another important thing to note is make sure the tape is sticking fairly well. It only has to be stuck there for hopefully only a few minutes. Not a long time, but it is important that it does stick for those few minutes. Now when you get to an edge like this, so right over here, if you can see this, I'm just hitting an edge right here. You want to make sure that you completely seal off the edge, in the sense you don't want to just allow the tape to end off like that. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you are sealing off the edge so that your caulking has a nice, clear and defined ending point, or else it's going to look sloppy at the end there. Now I know the stove covers most of this anyways, but for the most part you want to do that. Okay, so what we're going to do now is the fun part. We're going to get the tube of caulking and the caulking gun, and we're going to actually start with the process for caulking the entire kitchen countertop. Very simple. If you look at your tube of caulking, it's going to have a tip. If you look at your caulking gun, there's going to be a spout cutter on it. What you want to do is cut the spout just like that. There that goes. My wife's behind the camera. I'm going to clean that up after, don't worry. Cut it and make sure your spout isn't too big. This is a little too big, but it's okay. We're going to work with it. Now on the caulking gun, there's also going to be an additional lever over here, and it has a pointy tip. And what we use that for is to pierce through the caulking tube, and that's going to actually allow the caulking to get out of the tube, just like that. So what we have here is we have the caulking tube that has now been pierced. We're ready to go. Okay, so you want to put your caulking tube just as so inside of the caulking gun. Okay, and make sure that it lines up properly. If it doesn't, it's going to cause you some problems. So make sure it lines up properly. And one more time. Let's try one more time there. I pushed it a little too far down. There we go. One more time. So make sure it lines up properly. There we go. And you want to give it a few pumps to get it in place. And then when you're ready to actually begin caulking, you want a wet paper towel or a cup full of water, okay? And this is simply because after you've caulked along the line right there, you're going to wet your finger and run it along. And you don't want to do the entire thing at once. You want to do section by section because you don't want to let the caulking dry up too much, okay? So we're going to start at the end here. I'm just giving the caulking on a few pumps. There we go. So we have some caulking coming out. I'm going to just maneuver along the line there. Now remember, you can always add more caulking later, okay? So it's better to do a little too little right now, and then add more if you need to, okay? Than to do too much right now. So as you can see, we're just slowly, it's a very slow process. The goal here is precision, not speed. So just slowly we are making our way along the lip right here of the countertop. Now I should also mention that this is a laminate countertop. I've done a stone countertop at our old house. This is a laminate countertop. It's very similar, except with the stone countertop, the lip was over here that I was caulking, whereas this one is up here. Now I've released the lever, okay? And I'm just letting the remainder of the caulking spew out like that. I'm going to place it on top of some paper towel there. I'm going to get a wet paper towel, wet my finger. Okay, we're going to make sure we get that nice defined edge over there. Okay, you want to have a nice defined edge, just like that. And once you have that defined edge, wet your finger, run it along the caulking. Now, it looks like it's a lot, but what's really happening is it's overlapping over the tape, which is what you want. Because now I'm going to get that nice defined edge, okay? When you have excess caulking on your finger, what you can do is just move it further so you don't waste it like that. Wet your finger again, and you can always go back. Now, the water is actually part of the curing process for the caulking. So it's actually a very important step to wet your finger. You can do it without wetting your finger, but the caulking probably will not be curing as properly as it should. So with that being said, make sure your finger's wet, maneuver it along, just like that, okay? We're moving forward right now, so we have a little bit of caulking on the tip right there. Just maneuver it right like that, okay? And we are going to move forward. Now you'll notice there's a little gap right here. I'm going to leave that empty because I know I'm going to have some excess. So we're going to leave that empty. We're going to come back for that, okay? We are just continuing along. It gets a little bit difficult when you are working behind a faucet. Okay, very good. My beautiful wife is behind the camera. She is the detail-oriented person that turns on the light. Okay, so when you're working behind the faucet like that, you want to lift it up and then maneuver again like that. Very important because you will rarely have enough space to continue behind there, number one. And number two, you don't want to get any caulking on that faucet, especially if you just replaced it like we did. Okay, so continuing along here now, I went a little too heavy over there, so I'm lightening up right over here. We're coming towards the end of this section. I'm going to show you a little trick of what I'm going to do right here. You never want to end on an end because you're going to get a lot of caulking at the end there. So you go there and you come back. Okay, you want to end in the middle where you have freedom to move at any speed in any direction with whatever caulking is left. Okay, so I've released the lever. Now I'm simply letting it go. I'm going to leave a little gap there, like I said, because I know I'm probably going to have some excess. So I'm just going to go get my paper towel, my wet towel, and if you just bring the camera over here, we're going to continue over here. So like I said before, I left the gap there because I knew I was going to have some excess. So we're going to go backwards first, just as you can see right there. Okay, going backwards, there we go. So now I have, in my opinion, what is a perfectly nice bead of caulking right there. I do see some bubbling, so I'm going to bring some over this way. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, I'm actually going to turn on the faucet, get some more water right here. Very important to always have a clean hand or at least a few clean fingers. Simply because you're always going to need to do something. Unless you have an assistant that's helping you with the process, beautiful. Unless you have an assistant, then that's a completely different story, okay? So once again, keep your finger wet. You want that caulking to look beautiful when you're done. You don't want to let your finger dry out. It is a critical and crucial part of the process. Just like that, okay? We're working our way over here. We are, I would say, about 70% through the process. We're almost there. Now I'm going to start at the end because, like I said, you want to always end in the middle. It gives you the freedom. It gives you the freedom to sort of maneuver around as you need to, okay? Just like that. All right. And I'm going to add a little bit more right here. Let's see if we can drag some down. Just like that. Because I want to reach the tape. When you reach the tape, that means you're going to get a nice clear and defined edge. If you don't reach the tape, it's probably not going to create a nice edge. Okay? So we're going to move forward with the process right over there. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually just caulk this entire section and this entire section, and then we're going to smooth it all out. I have some on my finger over here. So once again, I know that I'm going to have some extra. I'm going to put that in the corner right there. And now, very important too, once again, keep some clean fingers, okay? You don't want to end up with caulking everywhere. You're going to have to clean up for hours. I mean, you're going to have to clean up no matter what. Caulking is a rather dirty process for the most part, but I'd rather you clean up for 5-10 minutes than 45 minutes. So as you can see, once you get more comfortable with how quickly the caulking is coming out, you can maneuver a little bit faster, okay? I'm going to now pick this up. We're going to head over on this side right here. This is the extra little section that we're going to finish right now, just like that. So it's all a matter of comfort. I have used this caulking gun and these types I've done this type of job so many times, even after doing it so many times, you still need to warm up to it, okay? Now, once again, we're going to do this little section right over here. Okay, just like that. All right, and remember, you want to end in the middle. Okay, and you can hear that scraping. That's because that's the really old caulking right over there. All right, now I'm going to release the lever, finish up like that. Now, it's very important that you don't close up shop just yet, okay? So I'm going to just get a wet paper towel. If you want to just film me over here for 1 second to get more paper towel, we're going to wet a little bit more. You don't want to close up shop yet because you don't know how it's going to look. You don't know if you're going to have any errors on it that you have to correct. Okay, so I'm getting my wet finger right over here. Okay, and we are just guiding that bead of caulking. It's looking great in my opinion. Looking fantastic. Hopefully my wife behind the camera thinks it does as well. Just like that. Okay, now like I said, this is something that any homeowner can do with ease. It's not something that is difficult. This is like, I mean, yes, pros have amazing techniques that they use, but if you want to tackle it yourself, this is definitely something that you can do. Remember, clear and defined edge right there. Always, always, always. Okay? Making our way over there. Coming back. Wet the finger. Bring it back like that. Now you can see there's a lot of excess there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just remove that excess. Okay? That was probably because I was going a little too fast. So I wasn't taking my time. All right, and last but not least, we have this section over here. Just like that. And we're almost done. We're almost finished. Just like that. Now, I actually made a mistake. Yes, I will point out my own mistakes. I didn't put a clear and defined edge over there. Now, luckily, it's behind the fridge. So I'm just going to add a little caulking there and we'll probably be okay. No one's ever going to look there. But I did not add a clear and defined edge right there. So, I mean, it would cause a problem if that was in the main area. No one's ever going to see there. There's a coffee machine that goes there. Anyways, hopefully my wife agrees. She's giving me a little bit of a face behind there. So if you just pull the camera over here, what we're going to do now is the final step of the process. You want to get a bag right over here, and you're going to peel off that tape while the caulking is still wet. If you let the caulking dry, it's going to cause a problem for you, okay? The tape is probably going to rip some of it off. So you want to peel it off while the caulking is still wet. This is probably the most satisfying part because it's when it all comes together. Now be careful because that tape is going to likely be full of caulking. So it is very, very important for you to be ready to clean, to sort of get your hands dirty because they're probably going to get dirty at this point no matter how hard you try. So as you can see right here, we are getting the tape. Whoop, whoop, close call. I'm telling you. So what we're actually going to do now is we're going to start from this side because I believe if I start from this side, I should be able to peel everything at once. Nope, I was wrong. It should be this side. All right. So once again, when you get behind the faucet, be very cautious. You don't want to have to clean up for an hour. It's a lot of time that can be used for something else. I should have probably let that rest up there. That should stay. Woo! Close call. Okay. And when you are ripping off the tape, make sure you move quickly, okay? Because if you go too slowly, it's going to probably catch the caulking. So you really don't want to be afraid to really just pull it off, okay? Just like that. Just pull it off. I mean, it's not gonna do any damage. The faster you rip, the better, you know? At the end of the day, you even don't want to use the highest quality tape because then it's going to stick really well along the countertop. And when it sticks really well, it might cause some problems for you when you're taking it off. So as you can see, it looks, in my opinion, compared to before, hopefully my wife agrees behind the camera, but in my opinion, it looks 50 times better. Let's just get a quick shot of this right here. Looks much better. Nice, clear, and defined lip. Okay? It looks great. Now we're going to finish off over here. We're almost done. Right over here, we're going to get the last little bit. Just like that. And remember, caulking is also not a permanent thing. You're most likely going to have to do it again in the future. I mean, you know, when they did it many years ago, it was permanent. The type of caulking that we use now is not as permanent. Now, take a look right here. There is some excess that has dripped down because I put a little too much. Before I take off that tape, I'm going to just clean that up. Okay? Because once the tape is off, the line has been set. So that's why I said don't shut it down yet. Because once the tape comes off, that's it, you know, you're gonna ruin your line. But right now I can still correct it and make it look good, in my opinion. Okay, we're almost done. Finishing up right over here. There we go. One last piece, I believe, maybe two. That's it, we're done. Look at that. In my opinion, it looks awesome. Now, important step for cleanup is make sure you have some dry paper towel as well. Because as you can see, even though I've done this so many times, my hands are full of caulking, and a wet paper towel along with a dry paper towel will do a good job of cleaning it up. It really just allows it to be easy to clean up. But that's basically it. In this video, I've shown you the process that I use for caulking a kitchen countertop. This has been done with a laminate one, but you know, the process is going to be the same for a stone one, no matter what kind of countertop or backsplash you have. It's easy, okay? Clean it up, make sure it's dry, tape it off, put your caulking down, use your finger when it's wet with a wet paper towel or a cup to smooth everything out, peel off that tape while it's still wet, and you're good to go. And that's basically it. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more great videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.